Hi guys, welcome back to Manifest with Armine. This is Armine and I'm a law of attraction consultant. This video is to answer a comment I had in one of my videos a few days ago. And our subscriber or viewer asked, I'm stuck. My husband wants a divorce and I don't. I want to reverse this and I know I can, but all I can think about is how sad I am that he wants to throw our marriage away. I know it doesn't help to do that. I know I attracted his desire because of the things I've done. How can I get him to change course? Please help. Thank you, Armine. I really appreciate your videos. Okay, so now when we talk about testing the law of attraction, playing around with it, it all seems fun and well when it's things that don't seem so big or important or serious. And when it comes to something like this, which is our relationship with our partner, our marriage, things like that, we kind of approach it differently. And my point here is that it's really important to approach this lightly. And I don't mean like, hey, laugh and have fun with it. I don't think you're there, and that's okay. But the thing is that until this point, what's probably been happening is that as you've seen your marriage show evidence of, let's say, falling apart, not doing well, there's been this buildup of tension and fear and worry, and whether there's self-worth involved or not, it doesn't really matter, but it's just been basically somewhat of a snowball effect of feelings that are not what you want to feel towards your main relationship in your life, which is your partner, with your partner. So every situation is different. So what I'm looking at is the wording you're using and where you're coming from in that sense. And it sounds like you have really been trying to have a tight hold on control of the situation because you don't want to divorce and your husband is saying he wants to divorce. Now, let me put some different scenarios out there. I just want to make sure that this is not one of those cases where you're just having a big blowout fight, maybe a recurrent fight saying, no, I don't want you, I don't want this, I want a divorce. Is he serious about it, and is he ready to just leave right now? So because there's pride involved, in relationships often, and sometimes it's just a fight. Does it mean one is more serious or detrimental than the other? Actually, no, it doesn't. So if he is actually wanting to move on, and you know what you've been thinking or doing that has attracted this to your experience, you need to, at this point, release the grip on the relationship. And I don't know if you want to hear this or not, because it might sound like it's something you don't want to do, but I'm telling you that this is actually the best thing to do for the relationship and for yourself. If he wants to leave, and this is not just not just like a fight you're having where you're trying to prove to each other something. If he is saying he wants to leave, and he, at this point, as a result of things that have been happening in the relationship, feelings that have been going on, if he wants to leave, then you have to release him, because the more you're pushing him to stay and using that to define the overall quality or meaning of the relationship or of his feelings towards you, the worse it's spiraling down. So let go of the idea that in this, like Abraham would say, in this red hot moment, in this red hot minute, that you have to get him back and pull him back into your life and make him enjoy it, because that's not going to happen with the vibration that's being put out right now by both of you. So the best thing you can do is to release the tension around trying to control him to stay. And you may not be able to see how that's the most beneficial thing to do, and logic will tell you, reasoning will tell you that doing so will make it the end of your relationship for good. That's actually not true, because in any one moment, in any one situation, there's just infinite, countless scenarios of things that could happen. And vibrationally speaking, the best thing to do to raise your vibration, which will attract to you the best, obviously, result with this, is to just release the tension and release the need to hold on to him. Because if he really actually just wants a divorce, first of all, nothing is permanent. I think we know this by now in society, that when you get married, we see it as something permanent in a sense, but we actually don't, because we know that the divorce rate is so high that part of us knows that, hey, nothing's guaranteed. It's how we choose to look at it. If we choose to believe it's forever, then that's more likely going to happen, given that the frequency you're usually staying on is with a long-term healthy marriage. But in the same way that marriage is not a guarantee for a relationship to be meant to be forever, if you want to use those terms, likewise, divorce is not a solid permanent thing either. So, and also, just because you're releasing the tension around that doesn't mean that the divorce is actually going to materialize in like paperwork and a legal divorce. And if it does, then so be it. You have to not resist it. So that's my point here. Don't resist the things that he wants to do, even if you know especially if you know it's a manifestation of just the energy that you guys have been putting out for the past whatever amount of time. The worst thing you can do to fix negative energy that you've been putting out before is to use strong tension of energy to try to make it back to what it used to be. And that is felt as a negative emotion because you're seeing it as something is wrong. By letting go of the need to have him not get his divorce that he so wants right now, it's a higher vibration. And what makes it seem so terrible is that you are tying this to what the relationship means to him. And people's actions actually don't automatically represent what people feel or what people value. It may be that he values your relationship too much, that he doesn't want it to go on in this way because this is not what he saw for you guys. It could be that it's just really hard for him to not be on good terms with you and have to be living with you that way. So you have to not see narrow, because the universe sees so expansively, and there's so many different ways that this can work out. Don't let one thing or one feeling define your relationship with him or your happiness with him. You have to let each other go. You can't let this relationship decide whether you're going to be happy or not. And the moment that you will shift from feeling like, hey, this relationship, whether it is defined as marriage or not, or whether he's living with me or not in this red hot minute, does not determine whether or not I am happy as a human being. Because, I mean, you can appreciate who he is without him, living under the same roof as you. And if that has to happen for a little while, then that's okay. I mean, what you're sacrificing is very small when you look at the overall picture and think, okay, this is for the good of our future together. So in your case right now, from the way you were writing it, and you could be in a completely different place by now, because that was a few days ago, and sometimes relationships, can switch, from one thing to another really quickly. So if you are still in that place of where you were asking that question, then that's what I would say. If you were to ask me a similar question today and I could tell your vibration was somewhere else, then we would go from there. But yeah, I really think it's good for you to admit to yourself that regardless of what we've been taught and what society is telling us and TV shows, movies, all that BS, one choice, one decision from one person does not determine your self-worth, and not even the way they see you or your relationship. It could be that maybe by you holding on and insisting, right? I had another video about that. By you insisting so much that maybe you're not respecting and valuing your relationship with him as much as he is, maybe by trying to, make a drastic change. Okay? Thank you very much. I know that it's sometimes not easy for us to talk about personal things in public. This is public. But it's really important too, because there are people who are watching this who will benefit from it. Okay? And if you have any further questions, ask me in the comments below. That way people can follow it, and then we can all benefit even more. And if you guys like this video, please click like. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.